We all know about Fort Niagara. We've also all read about Fort Niagara. But how much do we really know about Fort Niagara?
Old Fort Niagara lies right on the water in Youngstown, where you get to become part of its vital history of over 300 years.
Once you enter the fort, the first building you're going to come to is the South Redoubt. That was built in 1770 by the British, and it's actually considered a fort because about 20 men could live on the second story of that and defend the area from the third story, the roof. As you enter the fort, there is another redoubt, the North Redoubt, similar to the South Redoubt, the doors are a little different on it. The South Redoubt has a wider door because they would garrison troops through there. North Redoubt is a little smaller door. Sometimes they did store ammunition or gunpowder on the first floor, so they didn't want as wide an opening. That building was built in 1771. And now the provisions warehouse was used to store goods for not only this fort, but forts all the way through the Ohio River Valley and all the way to Detroit. Powder magazine was where all the gunpowder was stored. Walls are about 4 feet thick, and we like to point out that when you're looking at the building from the outside, you'll see some windows, and they're not very high. They're probably about halfway up, but when you go inside, if you look at the ceiling, you'll see that those windows are very close to the ceiling, and that's because the top of the building was filled with dirt and stone to protect the building in case the roof ever caught on fire. You wouldn't want the gunpowder inside to be exposed to that fire. And a hot shot furnace was used to heat cannonballs. Cannonballs, again, don't explode, so you would heat the cannonball, they would be captured, brought up to a cannon, and fired at a wooden ship or a wooden roof of a building, and it would cause that structure to catch on fire. Bakehouse was originally built by the French. The British, though, captured the fort, and when they did, they had accidentally burned it down and rebuilt it out of stone. But we like to point out that there's 2 ovens in there, and they're the original French ovens. They're about 6 feet wide and 12 feet deep. And all that was baked in the bakehouse was bread. They actually hired a man. The man would spend his days in there baking bread. The French castle was the first structure here. It was built in 1726, completed in 1727. That's the oldest building in Northeast America on the Great Lakes. When the French first came here, the Senecas were in charge of this area, didn't want a fort here. The French tricked them, said, let us build a house of peace, a place where you can come and get to know us, trade with us. They tricked them, actually, and built the castle, also known as the House of Peace, but it's really a fort. It can house from 40 to 60 men. On the first floor, there's a guard room. On one side, there's the trade room. On the other side, in the back, we call it the boulangerie. It's the kitchen area where cooking would have been done. There's a well inside. There's a meeting room. On the second story, there's also another quarters for soldiers. There's a chapel, which is one of the oldest chapels in western New York. And in the back are the officers' quarters and the commander's quarters, and also the officers' mess, where the officers would eat. The forge was really used to support both the soldiers and other staff that would have been here, repaired muskets, made tools and equipment for the people that were here. Then we have the Malay Cross. That was put up to honor people that were first here. The French people came here in 1687 and 1688. They left about 100 men here over the winter. The winter was so harsh, the natives weren't friendly, they didn't have enough food. When they came back in the spring, only about 10 men survived. The Malay Cross was put up because Father Malay was one of the people that came back and offered a special Mass of Thanksgiving for those men. We do fire muskets here on the hour normally for the people. We do a musket demonstration. In the summer, we have a music demonstration that our musicians provide at least twice a day. For the children that are here, we have them join the Army. We teach them how to hold the muskets and march. We play games with them. We set up period games. One's called Bat and Trap that we like to play with them, and another, if we have enough kids here, is called Biddle Battle. Also, we have somebody in the bakehouse cooking, and usually somebody doing wash the way it would be done in the period, washing some of the clothes here for people. We do fire a cannon twice a day, 11:30 in the morning, and I believe we're going to be doing it at 3:30 in the afternoon during the summer.
Come out this summer to Old Fort Niagara, where you will experience a day you will never forget.